Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. This is your host, Ahmed, and I welcome you at the third edition of REI E-Expo. We have come a long way since we pioneered with the first ever renewable energy E-Expo across the world in last June, and it has been a pleasantly eventful journey. Let me also congratulate the Indian hockey team for bagging the bronze medal at the Olympics. I would request all our audience to enjoy the expo for all the 2 days, along with the knowledge sessions spread over today and tomorrow with high-end discussions from dignitaries from India and across the world. Please also visit the expo floor for business associations, for we have multiple brands with their booths displaying products and technology. Not taking much of your time, let's begin the program with the blessings of the Almighty, followed by Informa Global and Informa India videos. Can we have the Ganesh Vanna, followed by the Informa Global and Informa India videos, please?
Purushaya vidmahe Vakratundaya dhimahi Tanno danti prachodayat. Purushaya vidmahe Vakratundaya dhimahi Tanno danti prachodayat. Purushaya vidmahe Vakratundaya dhimahi Tanno danti prachodayat.
At Informa Markets, right conversations enable rewarding market connections. Informa Markets.
Thank you for your patient eyes and ears. Ladies and gentlemen, let me invite Mr. Yogesh Mudras, Managing Director, Informa Markets in India, for his welcome address. Yogesh, please.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, everyone who have joined us here for the inauguration of our third REI E-Expo by Informa Markets in India. We're greatly encouraged in our endeavor by the positive feedback that we have received for the first two editions. Like other sectors, the renewable energy domain, we all know, has been hit by a stream of issues due to the pandemic. The need, therefore, for policymakers and industry players has been to continuously engage in sustainable COVID-19 recovery, and this is immense as of now. The two-day REI, the Renewable Energy India E-Expo, is one of the steps that we have taken to help in this ecosystem. I can assure you of an extremely impressive showcase of the industry that will enable networking, garnering business knowledge, marketing intelligence, and industry progress. This show also coincides with a critical time period when the economy is readying itself to get back on track in the post-vaccinated world. So today, I'm pleased to have amongst midst the galaxy of stars from this very industry, and both domestic and international. So we are having Dr. Stephen Hesselmann, Economic Minister Counselor, German Embassy, who is right now in New Delhi with us. Mr. Alexis Ischerhoff, CBC Vice Chair for Asia, in charge of Southeast Asia. Ms. Jennifer Fagan, First Secretary, Trade and Investment, Energy and Clean Growth, Department for International Trade, British High Commission, New Delhi. And also my colleague, Rajnish Khattar, Group Director, Energy Portfolio Informa Markets in India. The renewable energy sector is continuing to be much focused upon. Its construct in this current pandemic is a challenge, as we all know, but it's also seen as an opportunity. Even during this trying phase, India has added over 2,300 megawatts of solar capacity just in the year 2020, while also moving up to the third spot in the recently released Renewable Energy Country Attractiveness Index 2021. With ample push from the government of India, we may witness investments to a tune of US $500 billion that is expected in this domain by the year 2028. While we are always looking forward to hosting such events, the Renewable Energy India Expo in its physical version, we believe that this virtual format will also be of a great help to continue in engaging with the valued stakeholders in this sector. Supported by a who's who of this industry, be it the World Business Council of Sustainable Development, India Energy Storage Alliance, Cleantech Business Club, Indo-German Energy Forum, Indian Biogas Association, and National Solar Energy Federation of India. This E-Expo is also bringing together respected brands, consultants, business experts, and officials all under this virtual platform. It has been received with enthusiasm by the industry professionals and features renowned exhibitors showcasing an impressive gamut of products from this sector. Most significantly, this REI E-Expo includes a Power Pack conference, the theme of which is Transforming to Clean Green World. A panel of internationally renowned eminent experts and speakers from this vertical, from different time zones, will do justice to the various subjects within this conference. A special round of thanks goes to all visitors, delegates, and sponsors, exhibitors for the support and trust that they've shown us always for any initiatives that we take. Thank you so much, and especially for this E-Expo. Also, a special thanks to my team who has worked really hard to put this all together for you. I would like to end my address by looking back at the physical edition of this grand REI Expo that happened in the year 2019, which feels way back now, but then I'm sure it's a great reminder of the sheer power of exhibitions that we are gearing to host immediately next month from 15 to 17 September with all the B2B protocols and all the safety protocols at IEML Greater Noida. Can we have the video, please? So once again, thank you and wishing you all a very productive and successful day ahead. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Yogesh. Thanks very much.
Thank you, Yogesh. Thank you for the welcome address. May I have the privilege of inviting Dr. Stephen Hesselman, Economic Minister Counselor, German Embassy, New Delhi, for his keynote address. Dr. Hesselman, please.
Thank you. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, it's my proud privilege to all welcome you here at the third edition of the REI E-Expo 2021 on behalf of the government of Germany. I'm especially welcoming you here as a strong partner in India's energy transition towards high shares of renewables and the electrification of mobility. More than 2 decades ago, both our governments decided to cooperate even stronger in the field of energy and finally to jointly fight against climate change, creating more green jobs both in Germany and India. For more than a decade, our countries have regularly met under the umbrella of the Indo-German Energy Forum to share experiences and to promote the global energy transition, an energy transition through the expansion of renewable energies, energy efficiency measures, as well as e-mobility. We are proud to say that both our governments worked together in the construction of India's first large-scale solar power plant already 9 years ago. We are also proud to say that both our governments decided to work together in equipping the Karnataka cricket stadium and supporting the Delhi Metro with their first solar photovoltaic rooftops 9 years ago. Solar energy and grid integration of renewable energies remain our 2 most important key areas for cooperation. The German energy transition, we call this Energiewende, has provided a foundation for moving away from nuclear energy and fossil fuels to renewable energy. In fact, 2019 marked a major stepping stone for the German Energiewende, energy transmission. Germany decided to end coal-fired power generation by 2038 or possibly earlier. Last year, more than 50% of Germany's electricity already came from renewable energy sources so far. On single days, even more than 100% of the electricity was generated by renewables. 8 gigawatt of offshore wind are connected to the German electricity grid. 10,000s of farmers are generating biogas for electricity generation. More than 40% of all solar panels installed in Germany are mounted on the roof of private houses, as well as facilities belonging to farmers. In fact, it is the people who benefit directly from the energy transition and have become part of it. It is only with the support of our people that our governments can demonstrate worldwide leadership in actions on climate change. This high acceptance for renewable energies amongst German citizens is largely based on their ownership in renewable energy assets. Ownership amongst our people is probably the most important part of our energy transition. I'm delighted to see that so many people, and especially so many exhibitors, more than 40 from Germany alone, are present at the exhibition here today. I encourage you to visit our virtual German country pavilion to interact with the various stakeholders in the Indo-German energy transition. Around 10% of India's electricity demand is covered by solar and wind so far. I'm convinced that this is only the very beginning of India's energy transition movement. And you are the pioneers forming already part of it. I wish you all successful business days and a bright future in India's renewable energy market. Thank you, Dankeschön, and Dhanyavad.
Thank you so much, Dr. Hesselman, for your time and address. May I now invite Mr. Alexis Isherov, CBC Vice Chair for Asia, for his keynote address. Alexis, please.
It's nice to be with all of you here today. I hope you're doing well and that you are safe over there. I want to thank Informa Market and Renewable Energy India for the invitation. The future that we are heading will require a lot of renewable energy. We know that the ideal mixture would be hydro, solar and wind. Among the three of them, we're talking about between 80 to 85% of the total amount of renewables that we will have. Background, I've been doing renewable energy for around 15 years. I'm pretty much in solar in around 30 countries. What is great about solar is one of the technologies that we know that every year keeps improving itself, and the room of improvement actually is quite important. The efficiency keeps growing, and still we have a long way to go. Compared to other renewable technologies, solar has a tremendous potential. The good thing about wind is that out of all the renewables, when you manufacture a wind turbine, that turbine pays back the CO2 that you emit when you build the turbine in a very, very short span of time. Meanwhile, solar takes a little bit longer and the rest even longer. In order to get 100% grid, 100% renewable energy grid, what we need is to combine a lot of renewables. We need to incorporate biomass, biogas, geothermal, tidal, and all different sort of storage systems in place. As you know, hydro works as a storage system on its own also, but we have another 15, not only lithium ion and zinc and plenty other technologies. We need to put all of them together in order to be able to have an effective system. Nowadays, we also know that there are a lot of revolutions on the mobility side, for example, that electric cars are a boom. So we need to be quite careful with all the revolutions that involve a lot of manufacturing, because the resources that we have are very limited and very precious. So if we are going to manufacture new technologies that are less evil than the current ones, we need to take the opportunity to manufacture less in a much better way and start changing the way we think. We need to challenge a lot of premises that we always thought that they were there to stay. As for example, why to own a car? Should I own a car? Do I really need to buy a car? If there are solutions, a lot of cities now are providing solutions in transport, in biking, electric scooters, plenty of options. So we not necessarily always need to buy a car. The rate of utilization of a car is very, very low. And we know that in order to manufacture that car, it requires a lot of energy. So we need to be very careful of what we call revolutions, because sometimes these revolutions actually make things worse. So the ideal is to rethink our system, the way we consume. We need to add the word less to pretty much everything we do. We need to buy less, actually ideally buy as minimum as we can. We need to build new construction. Also, we need to do less of those new constructions that harm the environment and go into reserve areas. The biodiversity, the loss of biodiversity is one of the key things that we should be taking care of. I want to emphasize the fact that awareness is essential, education also, and eradicate poverty. A lot of people in poverty, they need to burn and use wood and small pieces of coal and different things that they have because they don't have other alternatives. So we really need to tackle poverty. Poverty is one of the critical issues. We need to try to make everybody part of the system that we are in place. Besides all of this, one thing that we need to be also understanding is that now there are new technologies that we can use, for example, hydrogen, carbon capture, but that we need to be quite careful because a lot of technologies that will work in the future, but they are not working now, the narrative is that we need to pay them a lot of attention. But actually, we should be working more with what we know that works and is actually working now. Because we don't have a lot of time to experiment. The timeline that we have is very short. As you know, in 8 years to 9 years, we will be crossing another tipping point with irreversible change in nature and in a lot of different areas. The current narrative is quite complicated because there is corporations in itself, they will always try to do everything what they can in order to survive. So they will defend that either hydrogen or carbon capture or nuclear energy will be the solution, and we need to invest heavily into them. I believe that we need to acknowledge them. We need to, of course, invest some part in them, but we also need to find solutions that work effectively in the short term. So middle term and long term is a luxury that we don't have now. So in the short term, we know that solar, wind, and pretty much hydro will be the fundamentals into the fundamental solutions here. And I don't want to forget also that in order for us to change, we need to be the change that we want to see out there, that we want to see in the world. We also need to relearn and rethink how we eat. Agriculture is one of the main issues on emissions, animals. So there are a lot of solutions with proteins, replacing meat and other chicken. So we know that a lot of scientists are working out there, but we need to do our part. We need to understand that first, corporations should be environmental organizations by definition. The sole purpose of a corporation is to keep selling and keep moving forward and growing, and that in the current world doesn't make a lot of sense. The way in order to grow in a healthy way, it doesn't mean to sell more, to produce more, and have a major waste. We need a circular economy in which we can recycle, we can reuse, and we can reduce. And ideally, in a perfect world, we are not getting any waste at all in this whole cycle. So I think that there is a lot of thinking. We need to challenge ourselves all the time about do we really need this equipment or this new phone or television, and do we need to buy something that needs to travel across the world to come to us? And that is how we start making different decisions, and that how we spill out into people next to us about this new way of thinking and philosophy. So I want to leave you with my final 2 cents would be, it's very important to challenge all the time, not only the status quo or the current system, also your own way of see things and understand and think about things. And it's very important that in the next election, when you're going to vote, you start paying a lot of attention to the candidates and what they can do and they can't. Governments are key in all this equation because we know that lobbies and corporations are quite close to them. But we need to demand governments for them to really protect us, the planet, and actually all what is important for our kids to get. The minimum we can do for our kids actually would be to give them the world that we received. So thank you so much again for this possibility. It has been a pleasure. I hope that the things that I have shared with you can help you to think and rethink things, and I hope to see you soon.
Thank you so much, Mr. Alexis Isherov, for the address. May I now invite Ms. Jennifer Fagan, First Secretary, Trade and Investment, Energy and Clean Growth, Department for International Trade, British High Commission, New Delhi. Ms. Fagan, please.
Thank you. A very good morning to everyone. A huge thank you to Informa Markets India Private Limited for inviting me to be part of the REI E-Expo inaugural ceremony. In May this year, Indian Prime Minister Modi met virtually with UK Prime Minister Johnson and agreed a common vision of a new and transformational comprehensive strategic partnership between the UK and India. They adopted an ambitious India-UK roadmap to 2030 to steer cooperation for the next 10 years. They emphasised that enhanced India-UK bilateral cooperation can not only reap mutual benefits, but can also be a global force for good to revive lives and livelihoods, promote peace and prosperity around the world, and protect and preserve the planet for future generations. Both leaders welcomed the launch of the Enhanced Trade Partnership and announced their intent to negotiate a comprehensive free trade agreement to unlock the full potential of their trade and commercial relationship, boosting jobs, investment, and exports, including consideration of an interim trade agreement to deliver early gains. An agreement was also made to continue removing trade barriers on the path to an FTA and an ambitious target of more than doubling UK-India trade by 2030. Both leaders reaffirmed their personal commitments to taking ambitious climate action in pursuit of the goals of the Paris Agreement and the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change in the run-up to COP26 and beyond, by working together to reach an ambitious, transparent, and inclusive negotiated climate outcome in Glasgow. They agreed to step up UK-India collaboration on climate change and low-carbon transition through a new partnership on renewables and power, including offshore wind, energy efficiency and storage, and electric mobility, and to explore joint work on green hydrogen. A Green Grids initiative at COP26 was agreed by both the PMs to promote climate-resilient infrastructure through a new facility for small island developing states under the Coalition for Disaster Resilient Infrastructure, and to launch a UK-India partnership on forests. They also agreed to explore enhanced partnerships with major private finance leaders to mobilise both public and private finance. The UK PM outlined his 10-point plan for a green industrial revolution in December last year, the key themes of which are directly linked to REI E-Expo: offshore wind, hydrogen, electric vehicles, carbon capture and storage, and innovation and finance. We need to ensure we work on these themes with you and implement the innovative technological solutions from the UK in partnership with all of you on the ground here in India. 2021 is a critical year for our planet. The science is clear. Climate change is real and is threatening our future. 6 years ago in Paris, world leaders committed to an historic agreement to tackle climate change. They agreed to keep global mean temperature rises well below 2 degrees and to strive to limit the rise to 1.5. REI, through its virtual forum today and tomorrow, and following physical event in September, will be an opportunity to make a truly global effort. COP26 will be the biggest summit the UK has ever hosted, bringing together over 30,000 delegates when it takes place in Glasgow in less than 90 days. There, we need countries, cities, states, and businesses to move onto a credible path to reach net zero globally in the coming decades. Our leaders both recognise the importance of climate change and of clean energy transition. And climate action is a subject in which both the UK and India are a force for good in the world. In the UK, since 1990, we have reduced emissions by 42% while growing our economy by 72%, the fastest rate in the G20. The UK has the world's largest installed offshore wind capacity, and we are continuing to add more capacity with a vision of 40 gigawatts by 2030. In Q1 of 2020, our renewables share of electricity generation increased to 47%, a record quarterly high compared to the 35.9% share in the first quarter of 2019, reflecting increased capacity and high load factors for wind technologies. This year, we have had our longest ever run of coal-free electricity generation since the Industrial Revolution, a 2-month streak of coal-free power from April to June. And in August, wind generated the highest ever share of Britain's electricity needs, with turbines producing almost 60% of power outcome. We are a leader in providing public finance to support clean transition in other countries, including as the largest donor to the Green Climate Fund, and a leader in the private sector green finance too, and Global Centre of Carbon Trading. There are more than 95 green bonds listed on the London Stock Exchange, raising over $26 billion across 7 currencies. We also announced a doubling of our international climate finance to $11.6 billion, allowing even greater investment in the clean transition in developing countries. And India is rightly proud of its record too. The pace at which renewables, especially solar, are coming onto the grid here is nothing short of incredible. And the 450 gigawatt target for renewables announced by the Prime Minister last September has definitely caught the world's attention. The Prime Minister's leadership on the world stage in setting up the International Solar Alliance, which the UK is proud to have joined, is also a great achievement. We are also proud to be founder members of the India-led Coalition for Disaster Resilient Infrastructure, announced by Prime Minister Modi in New York last September. India too has an ambitious target of 30 gigawatt of offshore wind by 2030. I am glad to see that the UK is collaborating with India to support its journey towards deploying offshore wind. The UK has made major investments in green technologies in India. We are the largest contributor to the World Bank's $5.4 billion Clean Technology Fund, and India is the biggest recipient of Clean Technology Fund funding, with investments totaling $775 million for solar parks and rooftop solar. We are sharing knowledge and exchanging ideas to help us develop policies and technologies that will support the growth of green industries. For example, we work with the Ministry of Power on making the power sector smarter and sustainable through the Power Sector Reform Programme, which has, jointly with the Ministry of Power, now created the new Centre for Energy Regulation in Kanpur. Under the UK-India Initiative on Corporate Green Leadership, we have brought together existing industry groupings and global industry under an umbrella alliance with an aim to scale up voluntary adoption of low carbon solutions by Indian businesses and their supply chain. Under the UK-India Tech Partnership, we have launched an Innovation Challenge Fund that will help research institutions and industry come together to develop new electric mobility solutions in Maharashtra. And last week, we had hosted major events in partnership with the Hydrogen Association of India and with the government of Odisha on clean energy and clean transport. So to conclude, we want to work with all of you on an ambitious roadmap for global climate action, which briefly leads to implementation of more renewable energy in India. The Race to Zero is one way to demonstrate your commitment. This initiative is the largest ever alliance of businesses and non-state actors committed to reaching net zero by 2050 at the latest. Businesses should join Race to Zero through one of the partner initiatives, ideally the Business Ambition for 1.5 pledge. We are also working with companies across India on renewable energy and would be happy to support initiatives and organisations to transition to cleaner and greener sources of energy. I am really pleased to inform you that the UK will be participating in the REI Conference exhibition from the 15th to 17th of September in Greater Noida, and we will have a UK pavilion at the exhibition. Please do visit us to discuss the potential areas of collaboration on the renewable energy front between both the UK and India. I, along with my team, look forward to hosting you and meeting you in person at REI in September 2021. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Ms. Fagan, for your address and time. And thank you for inviting everybody for REI happening in September. With this, we come to the concluding of the opening ceremony. And for the vote of thanks, I would like to invite Mr. Rajneesh Khattar, Group Director, Energy Portfolio, Informa Markets in India. Rajneesh, please.
Thank you very much, Amit. And my, a heart reaches out to everyone who's presently on the platform. And, I'm so delighted to see the kind of interest and the kind of excitement on the floor. And, this particular third epic edition, what we are hosting for Virtual Expo is actually under the master umbrella of transforming to clean, green world. And I think the topic itself is self-explanatory. And, with the while we were contemplating on the theme, we thought that there must be something futuristic about this edition, because India is not only riding on the glory of the past, but also is a country which looks forward to that. How can we make our economy? How can we make the world more sustainable? So keeping that in mind, we have this particular agenda set up. And while we go through the conference sessions, one after another between today and tomorrow, you will see that many of the futuristic topics are dealt with. For example, we are also discussing about the new agri-voltaic movement in the country. And none other than the German, friends of ours who are taking it forward. Similarly, we are also going to discuss about will the green hydrogen, will it be able to power India in the next century? And of course, the policies to discuss about the fast deployment of electric vehicles and the charging infrastructure. So these are the subjects which will take India to the next league. As we all know that India has set up a very, very ambitious targets, from 175 gigawatt. Today we are talking about 450 gigawatt by the year 2030. Now, imagine we are 9 years from now, and from almost like 98 to 99 gigawatt where we are standing today to reach 450, believe me, it cannot happen single-handedly. All the stakeholders have to come together, pool in their technological resources, pool in their intellectual resources, the finances, and that's how you can see that India is also a hotbed for International Solar Alliance, right? Because we all imagine that out of this good 450 gigawatt, a large chunk has to come from solar, because solar has its reach to every household in India. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for reposing your trust, your confidence in brand REI. And, with 14,000 plus registrations, what we have received since yesterday, until yesterday evening, and still counting, I can be nothing but extremely delighted about the interest of the industry globally, and of course, this will be also like a curtain raiser to our physical edition, which is coming up from 15th to 17th of September. And I'm extremely delighted with the comments from Ms. Jennifer Fagan that, of course, with great pleasure and respect, a lot of gratitude. We have a UK pavilion on board, and this will be a great beginning for both the countries. And as she rightly mentioned, the premier of both the countries are good friends. They have been talking about the business, the serious business, and of course, India stands at a cusp at this point of time. So, last but not least, I cannot leave this forum without thanking all the exhibitors with us, all the dignitaries, the speakers, the visitors who have taken their enough time, and I'm sure they're all enjoying the progress of the sessions. And last but not least, my friends, I cannot leave it without thanking my core team. It's a team which has literally, in the truest sense, have burned the midnight oil to see that, today we are talking to you from this event virtually, whereas there was a time when there was nothing called virtual unless we were forced to get into this virtual space. We always loved the world of physical events. We always thrived on the physical exhibitions. But for some reason, for all the wrong reasons, we were pushed into this sector. And now that we are into this sector, I think it's a great buffer for all of us moving forward. And I'm sure, the marketeers of the new era will definitely keep this digital aspect in their minds. And I'm sure it will be a great future lying, for all of us. So I thank everyone for their time, and I thank my team. I think all the dignitaries who are on board, and for their visionary addresses, for their discussion. I'm sure now as we get into the next round of conference sessions, I'm sure you'll see that there is a whole new world of deliberations which are coming forward, because that's the one which is going to define where we will be 5 years from now, where we'll be from 10 years from now. So very important. Let's leverage all the technological showcase, what's on the floor, and of course what's emanating from the conference deliberations. Thank you very much once again, and I eagerly look forward to see you all at our physical editions, Renewable Energy India Expo, the 13th editions at India Expo Center, Greater Noida, 15th to 17th of September. Thank you very much, and goodbye and good luck.
Thank you so much, Rajneesh. And thank you so much to all the dignitaries for the addresses, and thank you for your time as well. With this, the expo and the conference stands open, and I urge once again to all our audience to connect and enjoy at the expo, which has multiple booths and knowledge sessions. Please click the session tabs to view and join the sessions. The first session of the day is session topic, CEO's Vision, the next big leap in solar sector, which starts at 12:15 Indian Standard Time. See you there, and we look forward to have you for all the 2 days. Thank you so much.